Hello guys, welcome to Talking News, Chasing a Murderer. Today I wanted to do a podcast, a Talking News segment on what's going on with the Lori Vallow case. So before we get started, subscribe, hit that like button. Also, hit the notification bell if you like notifications whenever we have new uploads, guys. You don't want to miss it. So I hope everyone is doing fabulous. I know I've been super busy, guys, lately. I've been struggling to get my videos out. It's been a real busy year this year with all those annoying things you got to do in life that you wish you didn't have to. So guess what comes on tonight, guys? Tonight, 48 hours, right? I think that's the one. They are going to have a segment with Chad Daybell's children. So if you haven't heard about that, make sure you check in to see, what time it'll be playing in your area, because I don't know. So let's talk about what's happening with this case, and then we'll get back to Chad Daybell and his children and their upcoming interview. So we know when charges come forth, murder charges, we learned that soon after that, Lori became... And so this happened around June 8th of 2021. And so it's that shortly after this that Lori Daybell was actually committed. And we were told that we would find out more within the next 90 days. So on August 30th of 2021, we find out that Judge Stephen Boyce actually received a letter from the doctor along with the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare requesting that Lori Daybell's commitment be extended. According to East Idaho News, until the progress report from the IDHW actually comes in, Judge Boyce temporarily extended the commitment. Once that report comes back, Lori's mental health status will be reviewed again. So why is this evaluation of Lori's competence it's so important to so many people? Well, anybody that knows this case knows that there has been several requests since 2005 for, several people having concerns about Lori's mental state. Most of them being her ex-husbands, Joseph Ryan and Charles Vallow. There's even a hint of concern from other husbands prior to Joseph Ryan, saying that Lori might have had some kind of issues. We know that Lori Vallow at the time was fighting mental evaluations tooth and nail, and she actually kind of was excited to tell her friends that she passed the test with flying colors. This was after being evaluated this was actually requested by her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, while they were going through this very horrendous divorce. But we know that Lori was fighting this tooth and nail. Right now she's fighting to be incompetent. And what I mean by that is she isn't putting up a big fight to get out of it like she usually does. A lot of people are questioning whether or not Lori Vallow Daybell is playing the game she needs to play in order to stay out of the court, not have to face these charges she's going to face. And one thing I have learned is Lori is a very determined person. If she sets her mind on something, she's going to fight it with everything she has available to fight it with. A lot of people think that Lori Vallow isn't very aware of the laws and how they work. Well, to an extent. Her family, as far as I can tell through other pieces of documents and stuff where they've had to fight for tax fraud or not paying their taxes or divorce, documents. Lori understands a lot of the law because she's already dealt with a lot that she's dealing with today. So she's familiar with some aspects of what she's going through. She's always looking for that loophole. And remember that people like her and her family, they do not trust government. So how long will this play out for Lori? And do you really believe that she might have some kind of mental condition that we need to be concerned about? We all know that she does struggle with reality, but that's where things get a little bit blurry because the things that she says and does, no matter how you look at it, in some way, it's for her selfish advancement. So, whether it be through God or for the fame that she desires, like becoming a book author. A lot of us believe that the children are no longer here because the children were in her way and reaching her goals, which would lead her to fame. If you don't know Lori Vallow's story, you might want to jump back and watch my older videos before watching this, because we know that Lori Vallow, she was making podcasts and she was preparing to speak with Preparing the People. She was wanting Chad to be her ghostwriter. And at the beginning of this case, I heard, now I've not had this on documents, that her bond was being lowered at one point and she was speaking with bondsmen, and she actually offered to give bondsmen money from all the books and movies. So the funds that she receives from that. So we don't know. So what movies, what books is she speaking of? Long story short, the bondsman said, no, I'm not going to help you. So let's talk a little bit about that. What if she's talking about the story that's happening now? So her story where her kids had disappeared, they're found in her husband's backyard. Has she signed with anybody that might be making a movie about her story? Are there authors out there offering to pay Lori? That's very interesting to me. Has anybody else heard that? Share it in comments below. So this tells you what kind of person you're dealing with. You have a woman, her 2 children, found in the backyard, or her husband's backyard, mind you. No longer here, no longer living. And she's accepting money for books and movies. I would love to see if that is true. That tells me her mindset. It just tells me that she is just one of the most selfish individuals, if that is true. Them children are no longer here on this earth, and she's excited and happy. A lot of people truly believe that she doesn't know what she did and that she's going to wake up suddenly and be ashamed. No, she knows exactly what she did. And if you're waiting on remorse to come from Miss Vallow, well, you'll be waiting a very long time. So I'm not real happy with knowing that we have to wait longer. It's just, we know it's going to take a while before we get anywhere. In fact, there's new information coming out on Chad Daybell as well. According to East Idaho News, Chad Daybell has waived his right to a speedy trial. So in the state of Idaho, people accused of crimes have 6 months from their arraignment to have their case tried before a jury. They write, because Daybell has waived that right, a trial scheduled to begin in November will likely be moved to 2022, guys. So those of you, like myself, who were hoping to see justice come swiftly, well, our dreams have been shattered, but we were expecting that. Guys, this isn't, a playground. This is some serious charges. Chad and Lori, they're accused of the most heinous of crimes. This is first-degree murder. Lori's 2 children, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow. This also includes murder charges for Tammy Daybell, Chad Daybell's wife. And the 48 Hours episode coming out tonight, where they interviewed Chad Daybell's children, and they're going to cover the topic of their mother, Tammy Daybell, and how they feel about how she passed away, and if their father, or they suspect their father to be part of that. What I have heard, because I have not seen the interview, is that the children are in big time denial and in grand support of Chad Daybell, their father. You have to remember, they grew up in a household where Chad Daybell was wholesome and good. He loved God, his family, and he liked to set a great example of being a great man. And if he's telling his children, look, this is all lies, this isn't true, I've been set up, wouldn't you think that the children would have to consider that fact? So don't give up on them yet. They just haven't. We don't know if the kids are manipulative like their father, or they really want to believe in him. So what we have heard is that Tammy Daybell, 49 years old, found deceased in her home by her husband, might have died by asphyxiation. So let's think back. We learned that Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, also the protective angel, also accused of being a co-conspirator attached to several of these murders, including Tammy's. Police find Alex Cox's phone GPS information, and they find out that right before Tammy is found deceased in her home, Alex Cox's phone pings a few blocks away from Tammy and Chad's house. Okay, now let's jump back real quick to asphyxiation. So there's suggestions that that's what's on the toxicology report. If this is true, there are several natural ways that this can happen, but most people suspect that's not that. We know that there's several ways that you can have your airways blocked, but a lot of people are thinking that follow this case that maybe perhaps Alex Cox and Chad Daybell were the ones that created the blockage. I wonder, did Chad Daybell open up the bedroom window in the middle of the night and help Alex climb in? You have so many things going through your mind, a lot of speculation. We don't know what the police know, but we know that the children of Chad Daybell on this day believe that their father is innocent and not capable of doing such horrible things. And these little trailers of the show that's coming on tonight suggest that there's a possibility that their father was set up. Looking at the GPS information on both Chad and Alex Cox's phone, and using the dates that we know that the children were last seen alive, right? You can't help but wonder how the kids could even get just a hint of doubt. We know that Chad Daybell is on his property both days that Alex Cox's GPS or phone pings on Chad Daybell's property, attached to the investigator's suspicion that the children were laid to rest, and laid to rest on those particular days. You have to wonder where this is coming from. So is Chad telling his kids, say, look, at some point I left my property and these people come onto my property and place these remains on my property without me knowing? That's going to be very difficult considering the evidence that they have of him talking with investigators, saying that he hadn't seen JJ for a couple of months, when Melanie Gibb can testify that he saw the children, or at least JJ, because she was there visiting at the end of September. But that's going to be difficult and might work in his advantage. If you ever had the chance to hear the audio recently come out on Melanie Gibb, she's speaking to a friend of hers. I won't mention the name right now. And everything is coming out of her mouth is either a lie to the friend or what she tells us later is a lie. No matter what, Melanie Gibb can be quite damaging to the case. A lot of people felt that she might be helpful. It's going to be hard to be helpful when you're known as a liar. So hopefully she has come out and faced her truths, no matter how it looks. So here's the next big question. Why are the kids doing the interview, and is this a good idea? Well, certainly it seems that the children do believe that their father is innocent. And they are right. He's innocent until proven guilty. They may need time to process and collect all the evidence. They want to give their father the benefit of the doubt. So really, to be fair, the children need their space and their time to get through this and the trial before really understanding the truth of what is really happening around them. Remember, their father was having an affair with Lori, making all these plans, and they never knew it, and neither did their mother. And the truth is this: Tammy was alive and at her home, or living at her home, while Chad was making plans to place remains on their property. Their children are coming over during this time, and Chad's acting like everything is normal, if he is guilty of doing this. Chad Daybell believes that he is capable of manipulating anyone, obviously. The next question is, are the children getting paid to show up on 48 hours? Well, I did some research on that because I didn't know the answer to that and still don't. So, guys, according to a few journalists and their blogs and their shares, they say people who appear in news programs and respective pieces or stories can be divided into like 3 categories. So you have people who want to talk, so injured parties, eyewitnesses, who really want their story just to air, so an opportunity to be heard. The reward is satisfaction. Second, you have the people who should talk. So like the police personnel, investigators, accused parties, etc. They're given the opportunity to tell their side of the story or trying to appear that they're also cooperating with media, that kind of thing. Finally, the people who do not want to talk, people who are involved but hostile or otherwise uncooperative, but sometimes their statement, for example, like she says, door slamming, no comment, etc., is recorded and used. None of these people are or request to get paid for their statement. The only category of people who sometimes might get paid are various survivors or people who remember a significant, often fatal event which happened years ago, like a plane crash, a tsunami. But they go on to say, I don't think you can call it a news show anymore. It's rather a documentary or a current affair. However, she goes on to say that they can't deny that some journalists do pay their sources. But a source who requests and receives payments almost never appears on camera because they're usually a snitch. Paying for interviews is a tabloid strategy used sometimes by tabloid newspapers, so it's frowned upon. So here's the flip side, guys. So paying for interviews is a tabloid strategy. So they also say that news shows do not pay for interviews. At least they say a reputable news program, they will not pay for interviews. So ask this question, is 48 hours reputable? However, they will pay for like hotels, travel, meals. That is so that those that are being interviewed are brought to where they need the broadcast to show. So the locations. And some people are not financially capable of doing this. And this is something you need to think about. The Daybell children, everything's been ripped away from them because their dad, though he had gotten over $400,000 in life insurance from Tammy, there's a consideration that it's fraud, so they're probably going to want that money back. And we know that he already signed his house over to Pryor, his attorney. We know that Lori Daybell Vallow is also struggling financially right now. So, money is a necessity. And Daddy Daybell is broke. So one way that news can get around paying for interviews is paying for pictures and videos and that sort of thing. But it seems that ABC and some of the bigger news are paying for interviews, which is not such a good thing, is it? Anyways, we don't know if the children were paid, but we do know that they must be struggling financially in some sense, unless they're getting paid through other authors for books and that sort of thing, or movies. Lori Vallow Daybell seemed to think there was a chance for a good payday for her. We just don't know by who or for what. Anyways, guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I know I had to cut it quite short, but I thought you guys might find this interesting. So, love you guys. Let's hope that the justice comes in, and it comes in hard. Lori cannot continue to keep pushing her incompetence much longer, I'm pretty sure. So, we have to wait until 2022, but that's okay. As long as justice comes. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. See you soon.